What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a new video for you because the Ace family is trying to make some more money off of you guys. If you don't know who they are a family channel here on YouTube with close to 20 million subscribers, which is a ton of people. And the wife, Catherine McBroom, is now coming out with her own skincare line called 1212 Gateway. Some fans are a little confused by this and they feel like she is trying to sell a sad story in order to sell a product. Other people are super excited and honestly wish Catherine had her own channel because they love the sit down talk type of videos. Today I'm going to review those videos and give you guys some updates on what's going on with the Ace family. So get ready to pay close attention, grab a snack, and wash it down with some hot tea. So obviously I'm not in my normal recording studio moment. I am at the farm right now for Thanksgiving, but I wanted to join you guys and talk about this video because a ton of you DM'd me about it. But before we get into the new video where she talks about her skincare line and how she came about it, I want to give you guys a few other updates. You guys know recently there was some drama between Jake Paul and Austin McBroom, and Catherine actually DM'd Jake Paul and said, "Delete your story, WTF." Obviously she was trying to hide something. And in other news, Keemstar made a video. Obviously, Keemstar is always fiending for a video, whatever, but he caused some drama, and Catherine was actually upset and retaliated on Snapchat. I'm gonna need my glasses on for this one. Let's get it, love. So she wrote back to some questions she was getting on Snapchat, like, "I'm curious, are you honestly happy in your life? I mean, your husband cheats on you, you cheat on him, it must be miserable." She said, "It must be really miserable to be in your dungeon all day, obsessing and believing everything you hear or read on the internet. That rumor is old news and a lie. I made a lot of money on your clicks. Move along. Oh, and we are happy." So obviously she sounds really defensive there, and it wasn't just like this person who made up rumors. Like Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy, that podcast, she called you out for cheating. So many people called you out for cheating. So I don't think it's a rumor at this point. I think that Austin has cheated on you and you just don't want to acknowledge it. Another person wrote, "Do you guys really cheat on each other?" And she said, "Hi David, since I already talked about this topic, I'll probably never do it again. Watch the next video I'm about to post. That man has nothing else to talk about, but uses our name and likeness for his own agenda, and it works." And obviously it does work because they are a hot topic, but they love being a hot topic. Like they can't act like they don't love it, especially when Austin is over here trying to fight with Jake Paul and Bryce Hall and everyone else. And then someone else wrote, "People believe anything that's on the internet, huh?" And she said, "Some people really do." And she just calls it rumors and tries to act like it's not really happening. But when there are several people like corroborating the story that your husband is cheating on you, it sounds like your husband is probably cheating on you. Now let's talk a little bit more about Catherine's brand and what's going on there. Like I said, it's called 1212 Gateway, and she tells a whole story on how this came about, and we'll watch that video together and react to it because some things aren't really adding up. But the brand does have its own page on Instagram. You guys can check it out. And they do have a website that doesn't really have anything yet, but you can see it will be the website someday soon. Now let's go ahead and watch that video she posted and we can react to the storyline and what she's saying because some things she talks about don't really make sense. Like, for example, she talks about how her skin was really bad when she was 13. Well, we saw pictures of when you're 14. Like, your skin doesn't really look bad. And I don't know. Some people think that she's trying to flex this whole acne and skincare thing so that it makes sense that she's dropping a skincare line. But in fact, it could be just another money-making scheme, kind of like Silly Jupes. But I want to give her a chance because at the end of the day, I really do actually like Catherine and I do enjoy hearing her talk. So let's watch this video together. This video is pretty long, so I'm going to cut it up into pieces and fill in the gaps. So pretty much, Catherine starts off talking about how she's been holding this in for the past 9 months and she's been really ready to talk about her skincare line. She also shares that the beginning of this story starts with her mother and how her mother was 15 when her grandmother passed of cancer. And her mom at that time moved to Canada. She met Catherine's father, and she ended up having Catherine at 18 years old. And during this time, her mom was in survival mode, constantly working and trying to provide for her children. But once Catherine was born, it was only a couple of years until her mother left her brother and her with her father and moved away. So let's go ahead and just start there.
And I'm gonna just sit here and just be as real and raw as I can be with you guys because I feel like this is what I'm meant for. If you are driving to work, if you're breastfeeding right now, if you're on your way to school, Just put me on Bluetooth, put me on speakerphone or whatever you want. It's going to be kind of a lengthy video, and the reason why is because I feel like everything that I'm going to say has its purpose and is very relevant to what I want to explain to you guys, and then it's going to lead into why I started my line, and then I'm going to talk to you guys more about the launch. And I've struggled with whether I should say this or not, but I just have to say that I'm not here to sell you on anything whatsoever. This is not like a business move or anything like that. This is just me being real.
Hold up, you're not here to sell us anything, because I feel like the whole Ace family brand is about selling something. I mean, Catherine, it's okay to do something personal and from your heart, but do not act like you're not here to sell something, especially when you've got these professional videos and you've got people in lab coats. You guys can see the lab coats literally even say 1212 gateways, so this is a real business.
Real with you guys. I know you guys can feel energy. You guys can feel when someone's being real with you. You guys can tell through the screen.
Okay, I do agree with her. I feel like you can see through the camera when someone's being real or authentic with you. But the entire time she's saying this, she's like looking up to the left, looking up to the right. Like the body language isn't matching that authentic feel that you are describing.
Because that's what humans do. We can just really tell when someone's being very honest, and I feel like you guys will be able to tell because I'm being just that. So I'm gonna start my story with,
honestly, I feel like if you have to tell people you're being honest and you're being real, then you probably aren't being honest and being real. I know that sounds kind of weird, but like if you have to spell it out to everyone, it doesn't seem legitimate.
And I was so insecure about my skin. Like when I tell you how insecure I was about it, like sometimes I just want to cry because I just think about the times when I would literally wear makeup every single day just to hide my acne, or like just the texture of my skin was so dull.
So she's describing the fact that her skin was changing when she became a preteen, not only because of puberty, but also because she went and lived with her mother in Miami after living with her father in Canada. So she didn't see her mom for some time and then lived with her as a preteen, and during this time she talks about how her acne was really bad. But if you look at this picture from when she was 14, which was kind of hard to find, you'll see it doesn't look like she has any acne or acne scars. Actually, I think it's more interesting that she won't talk about her nose job and the plastic surgery she has, but she's over here talking about the acne that doesn't really seem to exist. I mean, I get it. I had really bad acne before too, and do I have a ton of pictures of that? No, because I was really insecure during that time. So I'm not going to write it off like she's lying, but I'm just noting that it's like, it seems kind of like a random thing to talk about.
My mom, can you help me with my skin? And so at the time, social media wasn't popular back then. I think that Facebook had just launched. This was like back when I was 15 years old. You couldn't really like search things on the internet. Like there wasn't, social media influencers. There wasn't people talking about their skin and makeup and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of just like bought whatever was on the radio or whatever was on commercials and stuff. I would try all these products and nothing worked. Like absolutely nothing worked.
Okay, so she's claiming nothing worked, which is totally fine. And then in the video, she continues to talk about what she was doing with her life at this point. So, like I said, when she was a preteen, she moved with her mom. She grew up in Florida, and then when she's approaching her, 18, 19, 20s, she is living in Florida, and she actually goes and moves to China for a little bit. And she talks about how she did learn to take care of her skin while she was in China, and that they have, different like processes when it comes to cleaning your skin and different just products in general, and she learned a lot about taking care of her skin at that time. Then she mentions in the video that she moved back to America, to Miami, when she was done with China, with what was going on over there. And at this time, I believe she was just like living her best life, aka probably being a Taz Angel. And if you don't know about that, definitely go look up my video about her, because we talk all about the Taz Angel situation, rumors, and everything else. But at this time in Catherine's life, she's 22 years old. She doesn't have a place to live. Her apartment is almost up, and she's kind of in a weird place in her life where she doesn't know whether she wants to move to LA or what she wants to do next. And she talks about this a little bit in the video. And you guys know that she's a spiritual person. She talks about being spiritual. She posts about being spiritual. It's been a thing for some time. Well, her spiritual awakening happened in this next part that she's going to describe in Starbucks, when she saw a man in a wheelchair and a man walk in with that man, and they actually went and sat next to him, and she learned something from him.
They go place their order and then they sit next to me, which I thought was kind of weird because there was so much room that they just happened to sit by me. And so I'm there on my laptop, and they're having a conversation, and I was kind of eavesdropping, but I was kind of like pretending not to be listening, you know? And they go, the guy on in the wheelchair looks at me and he goes, "Do you believe in fate?" And I looked over at him and I'm like, "Yeah, I think so. I believe in fate." And he just starts talking to me about, you know, different things. And I got really into the conversation because I just felt like someone maybe to just talk to, you know, at that point. And he goes, "Can you stand up, please?" And I stood up, and he goes, "Oh," he goes, "I knew it. You have wings on your back." He's like, "Your grandmother is with you. She's always with you. She's on your back right now. She's always on your back." And so that was the first experience that I've ever really heard from my grandmother, and I thought that that was so interesting to me because,
as you guys know, I mentioned a little bit earlier, her mom lost her mom, so Catherine's grandmother, at an early age of 15 from cancer. And in this moment, this man is explaining to her that I can see your grandma with you, which honestly sounds really amazing and spiritual and whatever. And if you guys are religious, maybe you understand this, and if you aren't, maybe you're like, what is going on here? But I do classify myself as religious, and I do feel like you can have these spiritual experiences. But myself, I haven't experienced that. The only time I've experienced anything spiritual was when I bought the Satanic Bible, and it was in my room, and an angel came and stole it from me. Well, took it away from me to protect me from it. But I've talked about that on my channel before, and you guys may know that story if you're an OG.
I had been thinking about my grandmother almost every day since I can remember. So I was always really connected to her, and I didn't know why. And so I'm like, "Okay, oh my God, thank you so much." And, you know, he just seems so magical. So I'm like, "Well, let me ask him some questions." And so I said, the first question I asked him was like, "I just gotta ask, can you tell me, should I move to LA or not? I'm really thinking about moving to LA. And do you think I should move?" And he said, "Yes, I think that you should definitely move. I think that you have a lot of opportunity. Just definitely, whatever your heart is telling you, just do it." And so that day I left with such a sense of like a sense of, you know, clarity almost. Like I was just like, you know, I can do this. Like whatever I want to do, whatever I put my mind to, I can do it.
So the following day, after the whole Starbucks man situation, Catherine was approved for an apartment, and she had a place to go. I guess like he gave her some good advice or whatever, or aligned her with her spiritual being, because after that date, Catherine felt very close to her grandma, and she felt like she has a spiritual connection with her. She continues sharing more about that story, and then later on, she talks about how she went to a dermatologist with her friend one time, and at this time, her skin wasn't really bad, which, again, I feel like Catherine never really had bad skin. That's why she's, like, having to push this whole thing. Like, I even, like I said, I don't have a lot of pictures, but I do have pictures of my acne, and if you guys see my crazy acne transformation, like, there are things out there that show that I had really bad skin, but there's not a lot of evidence for Catherine, and I feel like she's just trying to make it sound like she had bad skin so that she can justify selling this skincare line.
Fast forward a year, I moved to LA. My friend has an appointment at a dermatologist, and this was my first time ever going to a dermatologist. I wanted to go to a dermatologist earlier in my life, but I just never wanted to ask my mom because I just felt like my mom didn't have the money, and I just felt like, who am I to go to a dermatologist? Like, if anything, what if I go and then my skin's even worse? Like, I just never thought to go to one. So that was my first time ever walking into a dermatologist's office. Towards the end of the whole meet, I asked the dermatologist, and I said, "Can you please tell me why my skin looks like this? Why is it that I feel like my skin is good, but it just looks really dull? This is the first time where I don't have acne or anything, but I just feel like my skin just doesn't look good." And so he looks at me and he goes, "Well, are you wearing moisturizer?" And I said, "No, isn't that supposed to make your skin more oily?" And he starts laughing. And then he goes, "Are you wearing toner?" And I go, "No, isn't that supposed to make your skin dry?" He starts laughing. And then he goes, "Are you wearing oil at night? Are you wearing vitamin C? Are you doing masks? Are you doing anything like that?" And I said, "No. What I do is I cleanse my face many times during the day to dry it out so that I won't get the acne. And I wash my face with really hot water because in my mind, I thought that by washing your face with hot water, that would kill the germs. totally wrong. And I also told him that I would pick my face every single night to get rid of all my pores and all my acne, and then in the morning I thought that it would look better, but in reality what I was doing is I was causing a lot of pigmentation in my skin, and it was making my skin really red, and I was irritating it.
I totally relate to Catherine when it comes down to that. Like, my skin, trust me, has never really been that great, even though I would consider it the best it's ever been right now. But I pick my skin so much. And after Catherine had that appointment with the doctor, she got a bunch of products and she started feeling better about her skin. And then moving forward, she became pregnant and she started thinking more about what she wanted to do with her brand on YouTube and being a personality. And she was kind of going towards the whole skincare market in general, but she was lost on how to actually become a business in that market, in that industry.
Like, I want to do something that really just brings me fulfillment and makes me feel good about myself and makes other people feel good about themselves. And so it was just like an idea, right? I obviously thought of maybe creating a skincare line in the future, but I was like, who am I to create a skincare line? Like, that sounds like, you know, that sounds impossible.
As time progressed, Catherine became more and more interested in skincare, and during her second pregnancy, her skin started acting up, so she actually started working with some developers and some scientists to work on products, but she couldn't figure out a name, she couldn't figure out a direction for the brand, and even though the science works were going on, she didn't know what she was going to call it, until she went to an esthetician or a facialist or skincare person who saw an angel, her grandmother, with her, and just listen to how Catherine describes this experience, because it leads up to the name 1212 Gateway, which is now her brand.
She looks over at me and she goes, she's doing my facial, and she goes, you know, when you walked in, I wanted to cry. And I go, why? I go, tell me, I'm an open book. And she goes, well, she goes, you have a grandmother. And instantly my heart dropped and I knew exactly what she was talking about. And she goes, well, because she's right there. She's standing right there. She's right at your feet. And I was in a cold room, and I swear to God, I felt my feet get warm. And she goes, and I go, oh my God. I'm like, what is she saying? And she goes, she wants me to tell you that she is very proud of you, and that she has been part of your abundance, and that she is with you every step of the way. She wants me to tell you that in a past life, you were her daughter and your mother was your sister. And I thought that was so funny because I've always felt like my mom was my sister, and I always felt like my grandmother was my mother. And then she said she wants me to tell you that she brought you and Austin together and that she wants to give you a gift. And at the time I was like, what's that gift? Like, and I didn't want to ask, you know, I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And, you know, it was a very heartfelt moment, and it was just so real, and it just felt so good to hear from her, because I swear I've been thinking about this woman every day, all the time. I just think about her all the time. When I'm driving, I feel her sitting next to me, you know, I always feel her with me. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, this is real. This is good. Like, I feel the energy. I feel good. And I got a sense of like, okay, I'm gonna push hard and I'm gonna stay strong, and I'm gonna do the skincare line, and I'm gonna do what fulfills. Before I left, she gave me a Reiki. So at the time I didn't know what a Reiki was. She gave me this Reiki, and this is gonna sound crazy, but for 2 to 3 weeks after that day, I was purging.
That does sound crazy. I was like, wait, what do you mean by purging? But at some point with this lady Reiki, and it supposedly like brings out the bad toxins in you. And I've never had this before, but honestly, I'm kind of interested because I feel like I do have some negative energy that I could definitely vomit out everywhere.
And I was getting rid of all the toxins in my body from that. I had black liquid stool for literally 3 weeks. I felt like I was gonna die. I wasn't sick, I wasn't ill, but I just felt like every time I used the bathroom, I'm like, why is this coming out of me? Like, what's going on with me? Really scary. I didn't understand it. And so I call her. I'm like, this is going on. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, yes, it's happening. She's like, you're detoxing. You have a lot of eyes on you, especially for me. It's like, I have a lot of eyes on me in what I do. And so, you know, a lot of evil eye, you could say, too. And so I was really detoxing and getting rid of all those negative toxins and energies, and so I felt it, and I felt good. And so I was like, oh my God, that's so interesting. Thank you so much. And I was like, by the way, when can we do the next facial? Because at that point I was like loving the facial. I love what she did. And I was just really excited to just be in her presence. She's an amazing woman. She goes, okay, well, the atonement is telling me to do your facial on 1212 Gateway. And so I'm like, okay. I'm like, whatever that means, sign me up. I'm good. Let's go. Let's do it. Okay. Whatever that day, I'm there. So she goes, okay, cool. So she sets up the date. I get off the phone and I'm walking around the house and I'm like, 1212 Gateway. 1212 Gateway. Interesting. 1212 Gateway. And so I look it up really quick and it says that 1212 Gateway starts in November and ends in January. So it's a period and it's a portal in time where you're supposed to really allow new things and new beginnings. And it's just like an amazing, amazing time of the year, and I'd love to explain that and share with you guys later, but that's kind of what it means. I went to bed that night and I'm laying down and I'm like sleeping, but I'm not in my REM stage yet, so I'm kind of like half asleep thinking about things, and I kept thinking 1212 Gateway, and so I went to sleep that night and I wake up in the morning. So come to find out, in my sleep, I went on GoDaddy.com, typed in 1212gateway.com and bought it and bought the domain. And I only knew that because when I woke up in the morning, the first thing I do is check my emails, and I got a confirmation saying that I bought 1212gateway.com for $12.12.
So I think that part of the video is hilarious. Like, she went online half asleep, bought it for $12.12 or whatever, and it's 1212, and it seems like everything is 1212, which, I mean, I guess, like, if that's her vibe, if that's her message, and what, you know, number keeps popping up, it makes sense for her to make it her brand. And honestly, I kind of like the name, like 1212 Gateway. I don't know. It makes me question what it is. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, because when I first heard it, I thought it was a direction or maybe a highway.
And so I was like, okay, cool. Like, I wonder what that means, right? And so I went about my day. I don't know where I was. I must have been taking a shower or something. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I got married on 12/12. And the reason why I didn't put two and two together is because when we got married in our backyard.
I also find it cool that they got married on December 12th, and that is also lined up with the 12/12. Something else that Catherine shared that was cool in her video is that her grandma actually has the same wedding date as her in Austin, and now they have this 12/12 Gateway brand. So obviously a lot of things are lining up for them, and that must be cool in the bigger picture. My birthday is actually December 11th, the day before the 12th, so hey, we're all up in December.
And we just kind of like did it just to get it done and to do it ourselves, and just kind of to make it official. And it was more for us, you know, me and Austin. No one was really there, you know, my parents weren't there, his parents weren't there. It was just to kind of do it. And that day wasn't very significant to me at the time, because I felt like the ceremony would be more significant, you know. And the reason why we got married at 12/12 was because that was the day that the pastor could be there. We were supposed to do it on 12/10, but we did it on that day. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So we got married on 12/12.
Then Catherine continues to just talk about how she's creating a product that she loves. She's got oils and different things that she's going to be selling, and it sounds like it's going to be a full skincare line.
A cleanser. I'm doing an eye cream, a moisturizer, a lip balm, and a body oil. The body oil I actually used throughout my entire pregnancy with Steel. I love it so much. I love using it on my neck, my chest. My cleanser is amazing. It's a foaming cleanser. It's so smooth. So, oh my God, I can't wait for you guys to try everything. Like I said, I'm not here to sell you, but I'm just so proud of everything I've created. Like, every time I talk about it, I get so excited. If you know me, my family, my friends, everyone knows I've been talking about this for years. Like, if you spend the night at my house, like, I'm doing your facial. Like, I'm taking care of your skin. When my dad was here last year, or my mom was here, I'm just like taking care of them, you know. Like, I just love skin. I just love it so much. I'm not one of those people that spends like a lot of time on the internet watching people do like skincare routines or stuff like that. I just really genuinely wanted to create something that I loved. You know, I don't want all this other stuff in my head. I just really wanted to create something that I love and that I know you guys would love. Like I said, like on my launch date, if I just sell one thing, like, I'll be so happy. So one thing I do.
So honestly, I'm excited to see what happens with this brand. I feel like Catherine has always been really fascinating to me, because Austin, I feel like he is really annoying and appalling and obnoxious, but Catherine is very likable, and sometimes I feel like the bad qualities of Catherine are just Austin's, like, kind of rubbing off or influencing her or something like that. So leave a comment below what you guys think of this whole situation, and I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Bye.